Hey guys, Effie here. I made another Christmas card for you today using our new Cardinal Friends set and also our Christmas sweater background stamp. Now I'm going to do some clear heat embossing with this background stamp onto some brown cardstock. The cardstock I have trimmed to an A2 size panel, which is 4¼ by 5½. After I inked up my stamp with some Versamark ink, which is a clear sticky embossing ink, I'm going to use my Speedball Baren Tool to get a nice crisp impression. It has this foam bottom that allows you to apply some even pressure wherever you apply it. Once I've stamped the background, I'm just going to pour on some clear embossing powder and then hit the whole panel with my heat gun. And there really is something magical about watching clear embossing powder melt, because when you look at it from the container, it looks white, but then once it melts, obviously it dries clear and takes on whatever tone that you've embossed on. And since I've embossed on some brown paper or cardstock, the embossed image is a little darker and it just looks really nice and adds a nice subtle touch to your project. And I really love this subtle background for my project today. So once I've finished embossing, I'm just going to stamp this beautiful cardinal image and the cluster foliage set from our Cardinal Friends onto some cardstock using our Caviar Hybrid Copic friendly ink. After I've stamped the images, I'm going to just dry the ink using my heat gun, and then I'm going to do some Copic coloring. And I'm using a few shades of red for the Cardinal's body. For the base color of the body, I'm using my R14 light rouge marker, and then I use a darker shade of red. I believe it's R29 lipstick red. So I colored the entire body using the R14, and then I use the R29 just to add some additional shading to the underside of the Cardinal's, I guess his belly. And I just color in that entire underside. And after I've done that, I'm just going to go back with the R14 and blend a little bit of the R29 out. And then I'm going to add a little bit more of that darker red to the feathers of the wings. And if you're unsure of where to add the shading, just follow the curves and then blend it out with a lighter marker. And that's exactly what I'm doing. After I colored my cardinal, I'm just going to color in my foliage cluster, and I'm just doing some really simple coloring, no shading at all. I'm just taking red, green, and brown marker, and I'm just coloring it in the smaller images in the cluster set. So once I finish coloring, I'm going to die cut both images using the coordinating dies. But actually at this point, I actually forgot to color in the cardinals feet, so I did that with a darker brown marker. So now I'm just going to place my dies cut side down onto the images, flip the panel over, put it in my sandwich, and I'm going to run the sandwich through my die cutting machine. Now I'm going to carefully peel away the dies from the images, and they're going to be perfectly cut because these coordinating dies are amazing. Now, off camera, I did die cut 3 additional foliage clusters, and I didn't do that on camera because it would take too long to show you the same thing over and over. So next I took one of the dies from our double stitch circles large die collection, and I die cut it onto some white cardstock. Then I took the largest die from our double stitch rectangles small die collection to die cut my background panel into a panel that was slightly smaller than A2 size. That border piece that I pulled off, I'm going to use that for future projects. So next I'm going to take a side folding A2 base and then adhere my background panel right onto the base. Then I'm going to pop up that round die cut with a single layer of foam tape. Next, I'm going to adhere my foliage piece or one foliage cluster onto the die cut and then pop up that cardinal using a single layer of foam tape. Next, I'm going to pop up the additional foliage clusters to the corner edges of my card base, but I'm only doing 2 corners, and I'm using some quarter inch foam squares that I just cut in half to apply to the smaller leaves. After I have applied the corner foliage pieces, I'm going to trim off the excess, but I'm not going to throw away any of the little pieces. I'm actually going to reuse them and just kind of tuck them under the die cut and around the edges of my round die cut. And I just want a more fuller look right under my cardinal. Once I finish gluing down all of those elements, I'm just going to stamp the Happy Holidays from our banner add-on holiday sentiment set, and I'm going to, oh, it's the Merry Christmas, not Happy Holiday, excuse me. I stamped it onto some white cardstock using our noir dye ink, and then I created a fishtail banner, and then I'm going to pop this up onto my project. On the right side, I make sure to add a double layer of foam tape and a single layer on the left side so that sentiment is popped up and has a lot of dimension. Then I'm just going to tuck some additional foam pieces under other areas of my card so that they're properly supported. Then lastly, I added some gold medallion sequins to my project, finishing my card. I hope you all enjoy my project and video today. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel if you enjoyed this video because I update our channel on a weekly basis. So thank you all so much for stopping by. I'll see you next time.